the show right now. He's the
Huge.
author of Retention Economics. He's worked with all of the subscription darlings inside of our game. Everyday Dose, Physician's Choice, Dose Daily, RYZE Superfoods, Obvi. I mean, you just keep going on and on and on. And now he is also launching his own product. That's word on the street. I'm talking about the world's #1 retention marketer, the one and only Thomas Lalas. Get in here, Thomas. Get in here.
What an intro. Yeah. What an intro.
Oh,
we've got to do that for you, man. You are well deserving, and we love your accent, by the way.
Can you see I'm blushing? Can you see my red?
We can, but that's what we try to do. We try to have that effect, Thomas.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thomas, man, we appreciate you making the time and coming on here. I would love just to start this conversation off if you would set just some foundation for us. Brother, we all talk and spend so much effort on acquisition inside of ecom, but probably the $1 billion question is, how do we get them from purchase #1 to purchase #2? That's really probably the $1 billion question. Why do we neglect that in lieu of always focusing on get the new customer? Why do we neglect getting people from purchase #1 to purchase #2?
Great question. Just to start, this is a big question. I mean, it's worth billions of dollars, and I can't really tell you that I have the ultimate answer, because there are a few theories I have in mind. Like, this is what I keep thinking all the time. You know, what is the role of retention, LTV, acquisition? And there are so many unanswered questions. #1, everything we're doing in terms of subscriptions, repeat purchases, the back end, it's in its infancy. I mean, ecom, it's still a baby. I would say most brands that we know now, they boomed around COVID.
Yeah.
People had to get stuff, at home, and subscriptions, and then ecom businesses, they boomed over there. Shopify started growing extremely fast during COVID, right?
Yeah.
How many years ago is that? Like 6?
Yeah, it's like 6 years ago.
Like people that were in charge of retention at that time, they didn't have a ton of data. Recharge was way smaller. Skio was probably not even around. Like, it's just a baby. So we don't quite know how to answer questions that have just appeared, right? Like, even I've been in marketing for 16 years, and when I started, Shopify was not around. Like, the whole thing is very small.
It's a great point.
Of course, we don't have answers to all of these things. But again, the #1 thing that is easy to grow and you get direct feedback and you get the numbers right now is acquisition. Yeah. Anyone can promise 2.5 ROAS, right? Yeah. But if somebody promises, hey, your ROAS is going to be 0.7, you're going to be like, so I'm losing money. Yeah. I'm losing money for the next 2-3 months. Yes. Right? Nobody's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to give you my account. It's not easy to sell. Unless you can prove that you can lose money now, but then you make 3 times more on the back end. Exactly. How many people can actually confidently prove this with data so they can get your business?
Yeah.
It's difficult. Retention is it's a long-term game, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, imagine you're Colin, you've been interviewed for the book, right? Like you probably understand a lot of things that were on the same page. Like, immediately I thought about drop shippers. Anyone can start a brand right now with somebody else's product. They just do the marketing. They need to make things work on the front end. Like, basically, literally, this business is, you don't make money right now, you are out of business. So, of course, people will not take care of the back end. They want to make sure they survive to see another day.
Right.
But the brands that start building something on the back end, this is the brands that are selling for 10 figures now. Like, for me, the goal is to eventually be a part of as many billion-dollar acquisitions that I can.
Yeah, it's a great goal.
I've recently been hired by a 9-figure brand to help them multiply the hundreds of millions of extra dollars they're going to sell the company for. Yeah. They've been running to 9 figures for a few years, and now how can we take all this the customer portfolio that we have stock portfolio, want to maximize returns. We have a customer portfolio, and how do we maximize the returns so that the future buyer, the acquirer, eventually pays hundreds of additional millions of dollars in exit? So it's a difficult question to answer. There's a lot of theories, but this is where the money is. Honestly,
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense why retention is still in its nascent form, data wise and all. I mean, that makes a ton of sense. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I mean, Chris knows this. I absolutely love all of this because I'm seeing right now, and what I've just been seeing from the ecosystem from the past, I would say 2 to 3 years, is all of these subscription companies that nailed it and did it really right. They're now exiting on multiple figures.
Yeah.
Up and to the right. I mean, everyone uses the darling of grunts right now, which is 0 to 500 million in 2 years. I don't think we've had a brand do that. And a lot of that is facilitated with the subscription. How are you kind of looking at other brands and seeing, the best practices that brands should be doing, where you'll see a brand and you're saying, God, they should be doing 1, 2, or 3 things that they're just missing straight out of the gate. Do you have any of those best practices?
Yeah, like I'm always very careful when it comes to best practices, because they're usually like sound looking sound bites. They feel safe, they feel right, but some of these things that people are preaching, they're totally wrong. For me, having worked with multiple 9-figure brands, 3 things come to mind. Number one is the offer itself. You can have an amazing product, but the offer, the way you position it, is always the number one thing that I can see. I don't need to have access to your backend data to understand your LTV, but if I see your offer, the way you're selling the product, I can tell you right away if you can scale this or not. Wow. Because you're ideally looking for the most quality traffic, meaning channel, creative, to come to the right offer, and then for these people to buy a second, a fourth, and a 12th time. Because these are the milestones. Did they buy again a second time, where you double basically the LTV on the spot? Did they buy a 4th time? Because on the 4th time is where churn slows down, especially for subscription brands. You can see that there is a drop off for the first 3 months. They buy a 4th time. On the 5th time onwards, is safe to say that these people will buy again, very likely. Statistically. Wow. And then what is the 12th purchase retention? How many people stick for a year? And I know I can tell you brands. I know there are 10 brands that are higher than 20%, 20.
Really?
Yes. Grunts is not a
wild.
Grunts is not a 20 or 25%. They're lower than this, but they have great retention overall. But there are brands that are killing it, especially they're in CPG space, right? Health and wellness and consumables. But overall, these are the numbers. And if I have the numbers, I even created a simulator that basically tells you how many millions you're losing if you don't improve your retention by even 10%. And usually it's tens of millions of additional revenue. So number one is the offer, making sure you have enough conversions coming in, but going through an offer that is scalable. And every time I will look into how you present your subscription cadence with the product quantity and the usage of the product. If you're, all right, so I'm not going to sponsor the brand, but say this is a brand's, I'm going to hide the logo. Magnesium pills, right? To improve your sleep. If you're supposed to take 1 a day, but you have a subscription cadence of 60 days, you're losing money. This should have been 30 days. But if you try to sell them twice a day, or they were supposed to take 1 a day, you're basically pushing them for a product they don't need. If you have 15 and you're mismatching the quantity, the cadence they need to use the product, and the billing cadence, then you're losing money. If you're selling too much up front and you're billing them 2 weeks later, of course they're going to cancel. It's baked into the offer itself. Yeah. So these are the 3 things I always look into, and I'm trying to understand how easy it is for somebody to buy. You see, Everyday Dose, a company I used to work full-time for, you can see there's just one option. You click the button and you buy. You don't need to select the cadence and change. That's the thing, and it's easy. Maybe there's one more option, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 30 servings, 60 servings, 90 servings, like upselling in the same period of time, depending on the product. But it's just easy. It's an easy decision. right? You maximize conversions. Then the second thing is what happens the first 30 days. That's the second thing where I'm always optimizing. Literally, I've built a company that is, I'm not going to share figures, but it's doing pretty well. And we are just doing that. We're installing post-purchase retention and LTV first systems. We're onboarding people. We're helping them reduce their skepticism initially. If you're a first-time buyer, everything is subscription nowadays. Yeah. You're thinking, what do I start canceling? You know, you're not even thinking, do I need this product? Like, I have so many subscriptions, I need to cancel a few. Like, the monthly bill is getting higher and higher. Which ones go first? Right? And this is going to get even stronger. So the question is, how do you onboard people in the first 30 days and then the first 90 days where most churn happens? We have systems for this, and people are still, they're discovering things. Everybody, usually the agencies are like, let's build something custom. We have a winning formula so far. You know, we're very proud to see that, 100% success story so far, right?
Wow.
And now I've built a team of people that are doing the same things that I'm doing, and we're collecting results. So far, so good. Every time my team has built the things that I was going to build, we've seen success so far, and we start collecting data.
Love it.
So first 90 days, first 30 days. And then what happens the first year? What is the long-term stickiness of the product? Because if people buy the first 4 months, but then crickets, goes down to 5%, I can tell you there is at least one $500 million company that is my go-to example. They are gaming the first month's worth of retention, but then eventually people give up, right? They can't sell right now. They're making $500 million a year. They can't sell. Or they can't sell, at least for the valuation they're hoping for. Everything goes, the valuation is in the long-term retention. What does it look like 12 months, 18 months now? So these are the things that I always optimize for, and I have a specific RFM-based reactivation strategy for the long term. When somebody's predicted to churn, you reach out to them with the right message at the right time, not just email or SMS, the basic channels, but many other channels. But anyway, these are the three points. Offer the first 30 days / 90 days, and then the first 12 months. These are the crucial points. You get them right, you can sell for $1 billion.
Thomas, you've got this thing boiled down to a science. I think there's art to it too, but the more that you talk, when you talk about, you've got prediction capabilities for what's going on with this customer, when they would quit, when they would churn, etc. And you got this playbook on 30, 90, a year. I've also heard you talk a lot about the first 14 days. Is that true? I've heard you talk a lot about that. You don't have to go full open kimono, but if you could just sprinkle a little bit, just a little teeth on that, because I know there's definitely things we should be doing post-purchase, especially subscription, that we're not collectively. E-commerce is just not. It's like, great, I got the sale, thank you, and then goodbye. What should we be doing in those first 14 days specifically?
Yeah, I'm always kind of like likening this with, hey, you go out, you try to impress them with great creative and strategy and the offers and the website, and then you ghost them.
Yeah.
Like, think about this as a date. Like, do you expect to get married when so it's kind of wild to me that this is not common sense, that you do email the person, you do message the person, you send the SMS, you're being transparent about it. It kind of makes no sense to me when people are trying to game the system, like to get the accidental renewal where, like, okay, I got the sale, I'm going to hide now, they will forget they're in a subscription, and they might get rebilled again. Like, there is it's down to science. There is a histogram of the biggest points where people churn. And probably you can guess, number 3 is the same day where they bought. They buy the subscription, they want the freebies, they want the discount, right? And then they cancel. Yeah. They don't have strong intent. This is a little spike. Everything else just ups and downs. The second spike, you can probably also guess, the billing reminder. Hey, you're going to be charged again in 3 days or in 6 days, right? Big spike. And then, smaller spikes the next days. But the number one spike is always the day you get rebilled. Because some people will never open the email, they never see the SMS, maybe you don't send them at all, right? And they see somebody charge me, oh, that was a subscription. and then they cancel. Big
Yeah.
spike. And
I
every
just
time it
did
repeats,
that.
it's smaller scale every month, right?
Yeah.
But how do you take care of this in the first 14 days? Because the first 14 days is where most people decide if they want to stay or not. The difficult thing with brands that promise a benefit is the gap between actually people feeling the benefit versus, while they're waiting. So the psychology initially is like, is this going to work for me? Are there any other better options? Did I overpay for this? There are 5 questions. If you go on my LinkedIn, even the CEO of Recharge posted about these 5 questions, right? There are the 5 questions in the book as well. So overall, people are skeptical. Because they bought for the first time, it doesn't mean they're going to stay. So your goal before delivery is to reduce the skepticism and to make them feel additional perceived value. If you have any freebies, if you have a community, if you have something extra, you provide it over there. People feel like, yeah, I've done the right choice. I've made the right decision. And then they receive the thing. That's a peak of enthusiasm. They receive the box. They open it, right? This is the moment we can start using the product. And you need to start onboarding them, because if they don't use it, they don't build the habit. You're about to build them again. They have too much product left, and they will pause, skip, or cancel.
Yeah.
And it's your fault, dear brand, listening, because you never onboarded them. You never told them when they should be expecting the results, how long it takes, right? So they don't have too many expectations when it takes weeks. You never showed them the value of cadence, of consistently using the product every day, building a habit, making it a part of their life. You never busted any myths, and you never showed them how their lifestyle overall affects the benefits of the product. So proper onboarding has not been done, and you expect people by themselves to figure things out. It's just like going to the doctor and expecting that the doctor will say nothing. They will hand you the product. This is the solution. Figure out how you need to use it to get, rid of that pain, persistent pain. They tell you exactly what you need to do. You take this in the morning, in the evening for 14 days, then you come back for an evaluation and you do it. That's how brands need to think. So the first 14 days, I've seen, like, we can go down to science, like this is literally what we're doing every day, but they're super important. Pre-delivery skepticism, and then post-delivery onboarding. 14 days, you nail them, you influence them to stay for another month. And if they do, the product can work and they can see the benefits, and then they know what they're going to stay because they feel the benefits in their body and their mind and feel great about it.
I think this concept of onboarding, I think is a great framing. It's great framing for what we need to do post-purchase, before they get it and after they get it. And I don't think that we're largely conscious of this. I don't think so. I mean, is that fair, Colin? I think this is a great framing for what we need to be doing post-purchase with our customers.
Absolutely. And Thomas, I'm hearing a ton about, the health and wellness category from you. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on categories that are absolutely primed for this. I mean, just if you take a look at Hims P&L and dive in there, and I'm a math nerd, the amount of cash that Hims is spitting off and free cash flow from LTV and subscription is absurd. And so there are these categories that I've kind of been seeing where it's like, this is unbelievable, the LTV. Are there any categories that you're seeing as well?
Overall, I'm studying this right now, a big data nerd as well. So I visit the US in a few weeks, and I'm going to have a T-shirt that says "Data is my love language." Like,
all right.
I wanted to go to a conference where I have this T-shirt. It sums up who I am. So now, there is a few things that I'm studying, quantitatively, just getting statistical significance and understanding how things relate to overall retention and LTV. But there are some verticals that are more primed for high LTV. And I'll tell you, like, the frequency of seeing brands that are, huge, like more than 9 figures and a vertical is pretty evident. So number one, anything related to pets, they have really strong LTV. I've seen huge brands, or brands that are smaller, but their LTV is strong, right? So they just need to scale acquisition. So pets is a great niche. Anything that relates to kids is also extremely great in terms of like you see the LTV of these brands like growing, right? So these are two verticals where the user is not the buyer. You're buying for your kid or you're buying for your pet, right? But once you're in there, that's it. Your pet cannot say, your pet will probably not eat the thing if it's unpleasant. So all you need to do is just find a way to disguise it. That's it. With your kids, it might be even more difficult, right? So there are specific problems you need to solve. But when it comes to other categories where the product is not sticky enough, or at least it's not an existing part of people's lives, like I would say a buddy of mine launched a hydration brand, right? People need to be educated. There needs to be some kind of education on why you need to be hydrated. And that means every single ad is building the vertical overall. But for example, I work with Everyday Dose and RYZE and Mud Water and Clever Blends. This is coffee, right? Coffee is already sticky. Like you know how to drink coffee, you know how to drink tea. Now you're getting a better alternative for this, right? So this is more prime for, stronger retention. Like there are things where you need to educate people. There are things where people are already educated. So when it comes to weight loss, for example, it's always difficult to break a weight loss brand because people don't see results and they need a lot of discipline. While drinking your coffee, it doesn't need any discipline, right? You just do the thing. You just do it naturally. So look at the stickiness, the natural stickiness of the product, and who consumes the product. Usually is the person buying, right? But if you buy for yourself and your family and you can offer this as an offer, amazing. Like you've increased the stickiness because your whole household uses this. So
Thomas, the more you talk, the more I am convinced that you naturally see the world through your study, through retention glasses. You've got glasses on that are AOV and LTV and offer based and all of these things. And of course, we appreciate you making the time and coming on here. We need to have you back, but I know that you've got more in your bag. Man, would you take 20, 30 seconds? Tell us about the book. Tell us where people can find you, learn from you more. Tell us where they can work with you, maybe, hopefully. Man, just give us perspective on that side before we get you out of here.
Right. So the book is Retention Economics, and it's already been read by more than 1,000 people. It launched in September, and in 6 months, some people said it's an instant classic. I've built together like all the logos of the tech platforms and the great agencies and the brands that have read it, and I was impressed. I'm like, wow, this is an impressive portfolio, right? So I'm going to put it on the website. Do read it. It costs as much as it takes for me to print it and ship it to you. I make zero money, but the insights are definitely worth at least 6 figures. Especially if you're a bigger brand, it could be worth millions, right? So read the whole book. You have nothing to lose. It costs nothing. Number 2, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. I'm getting more active. I don't like posting content, but I start posting on LinkedIn, and I'm going to start a YouTube channel. That's my backdrop.
All right.
That's my real backdrop. The book is missing from there.
All right.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. Thomas Lalas. That's the name of the screen. And if you want to work with me, or if you have a retention problem, or if you don't have a retention problem, but you don't know it yet, reach out to me, send me a message on LinkedIn and say hi, and we can take it from there.
We love it, man. We can tell that you've got all this big brain retention marketing baked into your brain, and we look forward to having you back and talking more, my friend. We appreciate you.
Anytime. I would love to see this beard, and I would love to see Colin as well.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man.